broadcasting live out of a basement in Appleton, Wisconsin. You're tuned into Fox City's Core on WCZR Code Zero Radio. We're the show that gives you an opportunity to call in and be a part of the show. Our call-in line is 920-358-0795. Core. My next guests are proof that rock is alive and well in this area. They won the Rising Star of the Year Award at the 42nd Annual Wisconsin Area Music Industry Awards, also known as the WAMIs. Joining us today are Riley, Izzy, and Johnny from the band The Coves. How are you guys doing today?
I'm great.
Pretty good.
Good. Happy to be here.
Appreciate you doing this, and you guys are proof that rock bands are still being born in this area.
Yeah, we're trying.
Yeah.
Well, let's before we get too far, let's go down the line and introduce yourselves.
Sure. Yeah, I'm Riley. I'm the bassist, newest member of the band. I'm kind of described as the more alternative one of the group. I've been writing music as long as I can remember. Kind of started out on piano, made my way into sort of like classical and jazz stuff, like playing double bass for some jazz bands, playing piano for some jazz groups in school and all that. I found metal, some alternative music in middle school, really changed my life, and kind of been writing stuff like that ever since. I joined the Coves about, January of 2023?
Yeah.
Yeah. First show with them was in Green Bay. No, it was in De Pere, right?
Yeah, the Long Branch.
Yeah. 99-cent PBRs. It was a really small venue, postage stamp, but it was a lot of fun.
His hair was a lot shorter then, too.
Oh, yeah.
And it was brown, not blonde.
It was like at nose level.
Who do you have on your left?
Me.
Izzy here.
I'm Izzy. I'm 18, and I play the drums. And I started taking lessons when I was 12 from Kevin Baker. He's the drummer from Boogie and the Yo-Yos. And I guess I kind of got into music in, like, middle school. I got really into My Chemical Romance. And then I got into, like, Nirvana and stuff. And then that kind of, like, went down a rabbit hole of, like, really indie music, kind of like Sonic Youth and the Meat Puppets and, like, hardcore punk bands. And I got really into that. And I'm also, like, really into, like, pop culture history in general. So I kind of, like, learn about, like, all these different scenes in rock history and kind of, like, take influence from all of it.
Heck yeah.
And then this is Johnny.
Yeah. I'm Johnny. I'm the singer, guitar player. I started taking lessons. Well, my dad started teaching me when I was little, probably 4 or 5, and then I started taking lessons.
Nice.
That's, again, like, it's really cool, the style of your music. How would you describe the Coves music?
It's interesting because we all kind of have different influences.
Yeah.
We're kind of all very different. It's very eclectic. Like I said, I've grown up listening to like metalcore, new metal, stuff like Deftones. I've kind of grown into some of the new modern stuff like Sleep Token, Bad Omens, and Izzy's more punk, obviously.
I love that hardcore punk from the 80s, like Black Flag and Dead Kennedys and Bad Brains and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you can definitely hear all those influences in the Coves. And then Johnny, as far as you go, like, you learned, or you got an appreciation for music through your father. Was your dad musical your whole life, as far back as you can remember?
Yeah, my dad just, he really has an interest in playing guitar. He'd play it in his free time. And then, yeah, he just wanted to teach me some stuff, and then I liked it, so I pursued more lessons.
Well, then you started a band pretty early on. What gave you the motivation to actually go and start your own band? That's a pretty big step to take.
Well, I was actually, so one of my guitar teachers, Marcus, he kind of set up our first band. It was called Radio Box, and it was just a bunch of kids. We were in elementary school, and we played a few years at the Steelbridge Song Festival. I just ended up liking that, and then later in middle school, after Radio Box, I played some guitar in our school choir. And then there was another kid there, Avery Kalis. He played drums, so we started. He actually asked me if we wanted to do some music together, just, hang out, play some music, and then that started the Coves.
So what kind of music was Radio Box? Were you doing covers?
We had one original and then just some random covers. I think we had like Sweet Child of Mine, Seven Nation Army.
Were you nailing out the guitar solo in Sweet Child of Mine?
Actually, I was the rhythm guitar player in there, so.
Boo!
So then the Coves, you met Izzy before you started the Coves, or was that after?
That was after. I think the Coves formed in like 2018, somewhere around there.
So where did you know each other before?
No.
Before that?
Nope.
How we met was so like there was a kind of a period, I think in like early 2022, when the original drummer left, and he was just playing with like some like random guys, and he was playing at Waterfront Mary's in Sturgeon Bay, and my brother was there, and my brother and his dad actually worked at the like same place, so they kind of knew each other, and my brother was like, hey, my little sister plays drums, and then I like came over to his house and we jammed on like Nirvana and Radiohead stuff, and we're like, yeah, this was cool, we should do this more. And that's kind of how I joined the band.
So then you were a two-piece. How long were you a two-piece for?
For about like 7 months, I'd say.
It was a while.
So it was just, at that point, it was just a guitar and drum band.
Yeah, we were basically like the White Stripes. Just like little ones.
So at that point, were you writing songs or just jamming on the cover songs?
We were writing songs too. We wrote a couple songs, and he had a couple songs written already. But by then, we mostly just played like 3 and 4 hour shows because we weren't really well versed in like any scene. So we just played like the long cover sets.
So during this point in time, Riley, you mentioned that you were doing stuff in the high school. Obviously, 2018, you were still in school. What were you doing around this time period? Were you doing anything as far as rock bands?
I was actually in college for a good bit. I kind of drifted away from music, kind of had thought it wasn't for me. And then I actually found the Coves on an app called Bandmix when I was trying to find. It's like a Tinder meets Craigslist, but for like musicians. It's the weirdest app ever.
It is.
And yeah, they were like kind of the only established groups on there. So I sent him a message and was kind of like down to jam. And after kind of getting back into it with the Coves, I kind of realized like music's for me. I need to keep it in my life.
Is Bandmix still a thing? I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
I think it is, yeah.
I made a
weird.
profile on it just to like try to meet like other musicians,
Yeah.
and then I just went on it randomly after like not being on it for months, and I saw his profile. I'm like, this looks interesting.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of people from the Fox Cities, Green Bay, Door County area that was on Bandmix?
No.
Not really.
No. There was some like Appleton, Kakana people, but that was about it. Kind of like equal distance, because Sturgeon Bay is about the same drive as it is for me to here in Appleton.
That's interesting because like back in the 80s, you hear about like the Recycler was a big newspaper thing in like Los Angeles, and that's
Okay.
where like a lot of bands found people. I didn't know there was
I'm not
anything.
familiar with that.
I didn't know there was anything like this app that you could just go on and find band members. So did you have to go audition after you?
We just kind of met up.
Connected?
I think it was at Johnny's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in like November, like we had another guy fill in for us for bass, and we're like, we really like this, because he would play like bass parts and guitar parts, like if the like guitar like came out in the song. So like we should look for a bass player, and we obviously didn't want to have like a bass player that was like 40 years old because we were 16 at the time. So we made posters and put them around like Green Bay, and then we ended up meeting him on like this website,
Nice.
this random website.
How did you feel, Riley, going in there for the first time for that practice? Were you anxious?
It's honestly a little awkward at first. Like I had not really played much at that time, and then kind of going in there and trying to warm up to playing bass again, being a bassist. It was interesting, but it really ended up working out. I remember one of the first like covers we tried doing was Plug-In Baby.
By Muse, yeah.
And really clicked. Yeah.
How did you feel So did they tell you what they wanted you to work on before you got over there, or was it a thing where you guys are there and then they're saying, "Well,
You guys gave me like a Spotify playlist of covers to kind of that you guys typically did for your set, and then learned a few, then showed up."
Izzy, you said that you auditioned, or somebody not auditioned, but somebody else came. You were playing with somebody prior to that. Did anybody besides Riley audition?
Not really. We couldn't really like find anybody, so we're like, you can play bass and you're our age? Awesome.
Do you have a pulse?
And Johnny, how did that work out for you? Did that open up your guitar playing a little bit?
Yeah, it was really nice. I felt like I could kind of do less, so it's easier to focus on vocals and guitar playing is.
I've kind of noticed in some of the covers we've done how he's adapted parts on guitar for when there was no bassist, and it's just kind of stayed that way in the music. So it kind of gives this unique feel to some of the songs, kind of makes them our own.
Yeah, and then like writing songs, like now we can like write songs where like it's just us two like playing in like the verse and he sings and there's no guitar. And before that would be really weird because it would just be drums and a singer. So it's opened us up a lot, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
How long did you have to practice before you were able to play your first show?
It's a toughie. I don't remember, honestly.
When I joined the band, I know we didn't have like a show for like a month and a half, and that gave me a lot of time. But
So you and Johnny were doing shows before.
yeah, before
Riley.
Riley, yeah. And then when Riley was in the band, I think it was like less than a month.
Yeah, because I joined in January, and then Long Branch was in February, right?
Yep, February 4th.
Yeah.
I have a good memory.
Dang.
And that was the Long Branch and Nina?
No, it
think
was in De Pere.
Downtown De Pere, yeah.
It was just this little dive bar.
And so when you were shelling as a three-piece, you must have had bands that you knew of in the area or bands that you liked. Were there bands doing the music thing already that you looked up to or that you got advice from?
I mean, we knew some people from Sturgeon Bay, like Pat McDonald. But we really weren't like into any scene because we're obviously too young to go to a lot of like venues. So we didn't really meet a lot of bands until we like played with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only band I like was aware of around here was the Trash Pandas because I just like started following them on Facebook and I'm like, oh, this is a local band. This is really cool.
Yeah, and since then, I mean, you guys have really started building up relationships with the scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, absolutely.
We talked about Steel Bridge briefly. It was brought up that, Johnny, you were in the youngest band, they said, to play at Steel Bridge. Now that you are 18, is it hard to get shows at this point yet? I don't know how that works with bars and bar venues.
So far it hasn't been terrible, but there has been a few shows where we got to play, but when we got there was some confusion. They didn't realize we were under 21, and so we got there and they actually got close to it, just saying, oh, we can't play there. But we got our parents to come in, and they kind of they basically gave the bar owners more confidence in letting us in there.
That's even happened within like the last year when all three of us have been in the band because we're all still underage.
Yeah. I guess we are lucky that we have like really supportive parents that like are willing to go to shows so we can play shows in bars. Because in Wisconsin, I think you can be in the bar if you have parents with you, especially if you're like playing.
Well, this is a good point to bring this in. Ava commented, Izzy has a super cool shirt on.
Oh,
Represent Elmer Glueskin.
And obviously, you know, Elmer Glueskin's been on the show before, and they've got a super supportive father and
Ben.
you know, that really good parents that show up to shows. Do you guys like it when your parents show up and kind of root you on at shows? Do they do that often?
They used to do it a lot more when we were like younger, but now we kind of like do things more on our own. But yeah, we do appreciate it when they show up and they like to help out and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And as far as the songwriting goes, let's start talking about that. So the Coves started off doing cover shows,
Mm-hmm.
and now you were getting to the point where you were adding more originals. You are signed with Banana Entertainment. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, we signed with them. When was
October
that?
of last year.
You really do have good memory.
I do.
But since then, we've played about like 20-ish shows with Bananas, and It's been great. It's helped us really get around to some of the areas outside of Green Bay, like Oshkosh and even further. I'm trying to think of some places.
Wherever the Dirty Turtle was, that was in like
New Lisbon.
yeah.
Really far away.
So when Banana's booking you, do they require a certain set length?
Yeah, they
Typically-
usually require like 3 to 4 hours
Yeah.
with breaks.
Those are long sets. And
Yeah.
How do you power through those?
Very carefully.
Very carefully.
Well, so there's a necessity there to be playing covers unless you have 3-4 hours worth of originals. So
Yeah, the buyers are also typically looking for the majority of them to be covers, and about like it's like 80-20. I think the number is like 80%.
I think like with our ratio, it's more like 75-25. But
Yeah.
do you notice a reaction when you play the originals?
yeah, there's been a lot of people at Banana shows who are like, wow, you guys have really good originals. And like we play like 90s and 2000s music, and a lot of the bands on there play 80s music, and a lot of people are like, this is really refreshing to hear like 90s music instead of 80s music.
And then, so tell me a little bit about your original songs.
So we actually recorded an album about a year ago now at this point. And since then, we've kind of decided as a band that we want to rework them. We've almost become a different band since we've written them. I know some of the originals have pre-existed me and Izzy even. Like Oblivious, for example, is one of the first songs on the album. That's all Johnny. So this first album that we'll be releasing eventually is the majority of it, at least pre-exists me as a member.
I think there were like 3 songs that were written before me.
So it really is a mixture of stuff. And can you tell when you're listening to that material that it is so like different inputs as
You
far
kind of
as
can, yeah. Especially, I think the first song we all kind of collaborated on together was Desire. And you can kind of hear how different it is.
Yeah.
So this was like you have a full album recorded, but as far as releasing it,
Yeah.
you're gonna redo it, or how is that material going to be processed?
Yeah, we've kind of decided as a band we're more of like a DIY group. So we've been recording everything at my house now at this point, and then sending off to a producer in Houston. So we have 2 singles that we're going to be releasing, one within this month and then one next month. And then we got a music video in December. We're not quite sure when the album's going to be out though. Hopefully early next year. Yeah.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Tell me more about the music video.
We're going to be shooting that this month with a group called Spartan Works. It's kind of just going to be like a big playthrough video we've got. Hopefully we're going to be filming it kind of near at the tracks in Green Bay under that big old bridge. It should be really fun. We're kind of going for like, I don't know if you've ever seen like Bush music videos or like those old kind of grungy 90s videos where it's just all playthrough. It's super blurry.
Have I?
Yeah.
Those really old Smashing Pumpkins music videos when Billy Corgan still had hair.
So it's going to be, you want it to look 90s, and
Yeah.
that's very cool. And so as far as input into the music video, are they going to let you dictate how the video shot, or are you going to them as part of the...
For the most part, yeah. They've told us they also have some of their own ideas as well. And we're excited for that. They want to take a few creative liberties.
Well, Brian Moore has an opinion. He said that
Oh, God.
Izzy is the best drummer ever.
Yeah, that's my uncle.
Nice.
Well, Brian, I think, knows his stuff.
I'm surprised he didn't say that I'm his favorite nephew.
All right, music video. Working on the stuff. Johnny, now that when you turned into a 3-piece, did that take some of the songwriting off your back? Are you still mainly chief songwriter?
So far, yeah, I've written all the lyrics and melody to all the songs, but
Yeah.
I mean, everyone does their part of making them. I don't really have any influence over the bass or drum parts, I think, and I think that's good that everyone puts in their own.
He typically like gives us a demo of what he's been working on, and he usually has it ready start to finish, and then we sort of develop our own parts around that.
And we overanalyze it. It's like, is this part in 4/4 or 6/8? Let's count it.
Yeah.
Are you mainly writing on acoustic or electric?
Kind of both. Mostly acoustic, though, I feel.
That's
But-
interesting for like the dynamic of the music, that acoustic would be the instrument that you felt comfortable recording or writing with.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll get recordings and it's all an acoustic guitar.
So walk me through your process.
It's kind of in between. Sometimes I write the lyrics first, and sometimes I write the parts first. But if I am messing around, usually I mess around just on the acoustic until I find a cool sounding riff or chord progression, and then I just try putting lyrics onto that.
Is that the point where you record it and send it to Izzy and Riley to add their parts onto, or to write their parts?
Pretty much, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever written lyrics about somebody or an event and then regretted, like, people finding out about it?
I usually don't tell people what I actually write about.
He's very secretive about it. We don't even know.
My family usually asks. A lot of times my aunt, every once in a while, she'd listen to some of the songs I've written, and she's always like, what is that about? And I'm like, yeah.
You use a line, I just write it about general stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm super excited to hear the album. And you said later, you're going to be dropping a single at some point in the near future.
There's a song we open with pretty much every set called Ashamed that we all sort of wrote together. That'll be out hopefully October 23rd on Spotify and all other streaming platforms.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So when you're doing shows, have you started doing shows that are all originals?
Yeah, that's what we've been like mainly doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
especially locally.
Has it been hard trying to rebrand yourself as an original band after doing 3 to 4 hour sets of mixed?
I mean, not really, because I feel like we just kind of like got bigger as like we started playing more original shows, and that's it. Like, at the end of the day, we are just an original band. We just play the cover sets so we can like save up more money, basically.
Yeah. It all coexists pretty well. And Izzy's very good at booking. Izzy does all the booking for our sort of original shows, whereas Bananas does all of our cover shows.
Who does the set lists for your shows?
We take turns.
Yeah. It's a pretty collaborative thing.
Have you ever just reused a set list because it was easier than writing a new one?
Yeah.
Many times.
Especially those 4-hour shows
Yeah.
where it's like, I'll just rearrange like 2 things and nobody will know.
Yeah.
Sheila Ray said that the music they play is so different, I don't hear music like theirs.
Oh.
Do you hear that a lot?
I've heard it a good few times.
Yeah.
We've been compared a lot to like Chevelle, Tool a little bit, Muse, from some fans.
Locally, we've been compared to Sweet Talk a lot.
All that too.
Yeah,
We've never played a show with them, but we would love to.
We were dropping the praise on Sweet Talk before the show started.
We all went and saw them last night at the Tracks. They were really good. They've been on a big tour recently.
What do you think about At the Tracks? I know you've played there a bunch of times.
Great. It's awesome.
Would that be your favorite venue to play currently?
I would say so, at least in Green Bay. They've really kind of revitalized the scene in Green Bay. And it's an actual spot you can go to for live music. That's not a bar. So it's a place we can all go to.
Yeah, it's 18 plus.
Yeah.
Which is really nice for us, especially because like all of our friends can go to our shows, whereas before they couldn't because all of our shows were 21 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would like to give a shout out to Tarl Knight, who's put quite a bit of skin into the music game up there in Green Bay. And I know you guys played the All Bands on Deck. Can you tell me about your experience at that?
It was great. We've done it 2 years in a row now. The year before we did it at Public House and Brewski's, I believe, those 2 places. And then this year we just did one show at Old School. And it was packed in there. It was a really packed show.
Yeah, all the shows for All Bands on Deck, it was pretty packed. And it's really fun because it's basically like a high school reunion because we get to see all of like our band friends and say hi and watch them play. And
yeah, absolutely.
It's really fun.
And seeing new bands too. I caught
that too.
Sherry Lane finally after not being able to hear them, and they were really awesome. Sweet Talk, I heard Sweet Talk for the first time at the Tracks at All Bands. Yeah.
I got there at like 3:30 and saw Sons of Kong set. We really like them
They're
too.
good.
I probably saw you guys at Sons of Kong. I was there for a little bit, but obviously I didn't meet you yet.
Acre of Tunes, yeah.
Yeah, so there's like just so much going on in the scene. When you're going to these shows, are you doing homework to find out what bands you can play with in the future? Do you introduce yourselves if you haven't met? Like you mentioned seeing Sherry Lane. Did you go introduce yourself to Tyler Tolman afterwards?
No, not at that show. We caught up with a group yesterday, the Holy Nothing from Fort Wayne. Talked to them. We do that quite often with bands we're either on the bill for or stopping at shows with. That's how we've gotten a good few of our shows, just talking and making conversation.
Very awkwardly, but still doing it nonetheless.
Yeah.
Got a comment here from Aaron DeLord, if I'm reading that properly.
Aaron.
We love the Coves, love mom and dad.
That's his parents.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. And so, of course, Aaron is... We have Aaron to thank. Aaron, thank you for getting Johnny into music and, letting him watch you play guitar back in the day.
No, for sure. Aaron used to do a lot of our booking, too, at least from when I started. He was kind of the head of that, and then Izzy took over.
Yeah. I'm too ambitious.
Did you and Aaron get into fisticuffs for
a little bit
control of the band?
I mean, I basically just... Now we're with Bananas, it's basically just me and Bananas that does the booking. And I really enjoy booking shows. It can be kind of frustrating when you send emails to venues and they never respond. But I think getting a show together and getting a good bill and promoting it right and then doing the show, it's really fun and rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
What's your approach to booking original shows?
I guess it gets easier every year because you learn more and more venues and you meet more and more bands and you can always ask other bands for advice. I've asked Lacey a bunch of advice before because we like to joke that they're our band parents and we always we hang out and we talk to them a lot and they've been really helpful too. And I guess again, I kind of just email venues and be this is what we are. We can find the bill. And make a poster and stuff and promote it, and then they either say, "Oh yeah, we can do a show," or they say, "No, you can't. You're not 21," which has happened. But I'd rather have them say we can't play before we drive all the way there, and then be "Can I see some ID?"
Well, so you mentioned there's some shows that didn't work out when you got to the venue. Besides age issues with shows, have there been any issues with anything else?
A couple, sprinkle it in there, just a few incidents. I guess there's probably been some times where they haven't really done their research on us and haven't realized we're more of a alternative, kind of louder band. So we kind of showed up for some venues that typically do lighter acoustic sets, and then we show up with our big PAs and amps and pedal boards.
Start the set with Sober by Tool.
Yeah.
So you guys have done acoustic shows?
No.
Oh.
We're looking to do some hopefully in the future. I know Johnny said in the past that he writes songs so that they can be adapted acoustically very easily. It's kind of where the demos come in with them being played on acoustic guitar.
Let's talk about this. So you went from a 2-piece to a 3-piece. Any chance, Johnny, you're going to want another guitar to fill in the sound? Or are you happy with the sound you're getting and playing and singing and all that? Would a second guitar player open it up where you didn't have to play complicated parts and sing at the same time?
I think it could, but I think we're all really liking it as a 3-piece. I think it's been working out really well. Mm-hmm. And I feel like coordinating songs with less people can kind of make them a little bit easier to get going.
Absolutely.
I really I feel like there's a lot of power trios in rock history. What comes to mind is Nirvana and the Police and Rush, and they make a huge sound with just being 3 people, and I think 3 pieces are really cool for that, and I think we make the most of with the amount of members we have.
Yeah, I would also run around too much on stage and bump into a 4th person. I think get pretty crowded.
Yeah.
So Riley, you mentioned at the top of the show that you're the metal person in the band.
Yeah.
What metal bands were you? Did he mention My Chemical Romance?
Bit.
Was that?
That was me.
Okay. Izzy mentioned that.
Middle school, I found bands just simple new metal Deftones, Slipknot, kind of those bigger 90s stuff, Limp Bizkit even. Very recently, I've really gotten into the modern metalcore scene, Bad Omens, Sleep Token, Spirit Box, Thornhill, really good bands. And I've kind of adapted that into my playing with the Coves as a bassist. I use a lot of modern metalcore bass tones, and it works. It's weird. It works.
And my drumming style is like a mix of like punk and like Dave Grohl comes to mind with like Nirvana. I am obsessed with Nirvana.
So you brought them up a few times already.
Yeah.
And I take influence from like Neil Peart from Rush and the drummer from the Police I really like too. Like just stuff like that.
So as far as Johnny, what you listen to, is it more aligned with Izzy or Riley?
Probably in between. I really like Tool and Muse. I would say those are my two biggest.
Oh yeah.
I know when I first joined the band, there was a lot more like blues influence. Like you always talked about like Joe Bonamassa, and we had like a more bluesy feel. And I feel like, especially with Riley in the band now, I've kind of like evolved to like a more like metal vibe, but the blues influence is still there, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically just like a huge mix of like every sub-genre in existence, with an emphasis on like 90s alt rock.
We had a comment here from Tristan. Riley's way better than a second guitarist. He's better than a guitar and a bass in one.
Wow. I appreciate that.
Let's talk about what this honor that you guys won at the WAMIs this year, Rising Star Award. Were you expecting that you were going to win that?
No.
Yeah, not really. We had like, we were like harassing like our classmates and our coworkers and our family to vote for us and stuff. Like we worked really hard on it because I think it was just something we really like wanted to win, but we didn't actually expect to win.
So you attended the award ceremony in person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Us.
Those two.
Yeah.
Okay, so-
Bradley was in New York.
Yeah.
What a loser.
What were we doing in New York?
I was seeing Sleep Token live.
So you went there for just to see a show?
Yeah.
That's
Radio City
hardcore.
Music Hall.
So you and Johnny are there, and you're just there. Maybe I don't know. Are you just meeting other bands and just maybe anticipating? What were your thoughts before? Were you talking each other off the cliff like, well, we're not going to win, but we'll go and check it out?
I'm not really sure, I guess. Like, it was in Green Bay, which was really nice because driving to Milwaukee was kind of scary for me at the time. And we didn't really like talk to other people. We're pretty shy, so we kind of just kept to ourselves until we saw the trash pandas. We're like, oh my god, you're the only people we know here. And then we just kind of sat down and just watched the show. And we were like, it was cool, but we were still like, are we going to win or are we not going to win?
Well, Trash Pandas ended up taking an award.
Yeah,
as
they
well, I
did
think.
too, yeah.
Well, so did they read your category or your nomination? Or was that one that they just, did you have to go up on stage to accept that, or did they?
Yeah, we went up on stage.
Okay.
I think it was for like bands that are under 21, so maybe they just wanted to make it more special because young people.
Well, so you hear your name and what goes through your head?
I was like, what the flip? I didn't really expect it. I was like, okay, now I have to like make up a speech in 2 seconds.
Oh, you didn't have anything prepared.
No, I was just like, yay, thank you.
So you and Johnny walk up there in front of everybody.
Yep.
And then did you say anything? You said,
Nope.
No.
Izzy just said thank you?
I said more than thank you. I can't remember exactly what I said. I was like, we really appreciate it, and we're just getting started, stuff like that.
I was there in spirit. They made like a cardboard cutout of me.
We printed out a picture, and I was like, Johnny, your job is to just hold the picture up. You know what he does? He does not hold the picture up.
Drew like a mustache on it.
Yeah.
Did you guys send Riley a text right away and let him know?
Yeah, we did. And then you just responded with like...
Yeah, no, I was excited. I remember they sent me some photos too of the I don't know if it was them on stage or the award itself, but yeah, I remember being excited.
Did you wish you wouldn't have gone to the concert in New York, or were you happy with your
Gotta say
decision?
no, yeah. Love Sleep Token.
Well, then you had to buy your trophies this year. Did you end up buying a
We did.
trophy?
We did.
And
We were
it's
wanting
great.
to take a picture of it, but we just haven't gotten to it.
Where does that trophy reside today?
In my basement.
Second practice room, yeah.
Next to our Battle of the Bands trophy.
So you guys are already creating the arsenal
wall.
of trophy wall. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. So do you have your sights? Now that you won the Rising Star Award, do you have your sights set on like a band of the year?
Yeah,
the
I
next
mean, like,
level up?
Yeah.
Be awesome. I mean, as soon as we get music out, I think it'll definitely help us. love to be back there. I'd love to actually show up to the ceremony next time.
Yeah.
Well,
And there's the BAMIs too, which we were excited for. We were nominated, but we didn't win, but we didn't really expect to win that either, so it was cool.
We hear so many people bash award shows. What are your opinions on things like the WAMIs and the BAMIs?
I think it's pretty cool because Wisconsin is like a smaller music area, and it's cool that like there's at least something that recognizes like Wisconsin talent.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Definitely gives bands something to do and to look forward to at the end of the year.
Well, now that your album will hopefully be coming out soon, that'll open up the album of the year category and
We'll
Music
see.
video of the year.
Yeah.
music
That'd be
video of the
cool.
year. Yeah, so you guys have a lot of stuff that's upcoming.
Yeah.
And what's the scariest part about being in a band at this point?
I think being inactive and not being able to play shows for a couple months. We're going to be on a bit of a hiatus for these next 3 months, but I think that's always scary and a bit uncertain. Not being able to play shows, seeing who will be at our shows next year.
Yeah. And
Oh.
also, I think just like when we start traveling, there's always that uncertainty because we all have like a huge desire to travel. And we started a little bit, but we want to wait to like save up money so we don't end up like broke in the middle of like Ohio or something. I don't know.
Well, and as far as your day jobs, are there any day jobs that are going to get in the way of the band? I mean, obviously at this point it's not an issue, but
Yeah, somewhat.
Hopefully not.
well, you mentioned you don't have any desire at this point to get anybody else in the band. I know you guys have done shows at both Rock and Roll Land, I believe, and the GBUFO.
Yeah, we played the first show at Rock and Roll Land. It was with a great lineup, and the energy in that room was crazy. I mean, there was only like 15 people in there, but it was the craziest 15 people I've ever seen at a show. It was really great. I hope they end up getting more shows in there because it's a really cool environment.
When you guys see somebody in the crowd filming, walk me through what you're thinking. Any mistake? Like, what were your opinions when you watch yourselves or listen to yourselves, like in that case?
My first thought is, my drums sound horrible. I don't really know how to tune. I kind of just figure it out as I go.
Yeah, I'll definitely pick out little intricacies like in my playing.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Well, right now, since you're a fairly new band, your online presence isn't as wide as it's going to be when you start releasing your own music videos. Right now, it's what people see
for
is
sure.
what people like Dan are putting up there.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got a show coming up, one more show yet this year.
Yep.
And then you guys are throwing in the towel for the year?
Yeah.
Yep.
Slamoween in Sheboygan.
We're going to be dressing up, but we're not going to tell anybody what we're
It's a
dressing
secret.
up as.
You
Yeah.
gotta show up to find out.
Oh, can you give us a hint?
What would the hint even be?
I don't know. I can't think of a good one. It would kind of give it away right away.
That's my job.
Yeah.
It's a group of 3.
It's a power trio.
Yeah.
A group of 3, and it's a power trio.
A
So
musical power trio.
it's Nirvana.
No.
Would
Some
have
may
to
say they're even better.
We kind of are a Nirvana in the alternate universe. One of our favorite covers to play is Aneurysm.
Yeah.
We kind of like made it our own.
Now I'm thinking about this power trio thing. So it would have to be a power trio you could dress up like, and people would know what you were. That's going to drive me nuts. Johnny, just tell me what they're dressing up as.
No, don't.
Well, okay. Well, maybe after the show's over, you can fill me in a little bit. But so there won't be any chance that you're going to slip in another show in 2024.
Probably not. Yeah. There's just like, we just want to work on like a couple things, and there's like some other internal things that we just need to get out of the way, just so we have like, for next year, we can do as like many things as we can and be as busy as we can.
Riley, before I forget, I love your stage outfits. How are you picking out what you're going to wear during shows?
I thrift a lot around Green Bay, like like Goodwill, like on, I don't know, all over. I go to the mall a lot, like Hot Topic. It's a good place. I've kind of been picking stuff up from there.
He has these pants, and they're like really baggy. We
Oh,
call them
yeah.
his ninja
Parachute
pants.
Those are fun. I try to make things cool with socks too. Like I try to coordinate my socks with my outfit. I noticed the drummer of Sweet Talk does that too. I thought that was pretty cool.
The drummer of Sweet Talk does that?
Yeah, he's had like these like big old like skeleton kind of like knee high things going on. It was cool because you could even like see him like from behind the kit. It was super sick.
We had a photo shoot, and he was wearing all black, but he had these like pink flower socks on,
Yeah.
and you could like in one photo you could see him very clearly.
So that's something now that you started that you can't really stop it because it's your thing.
Yeah, it's my thing.
Well, when you're doing the cover shows, did you have a favorite cover to play? And there's got to be a couple in there that you just despise
Oh, yeah.
performing
Oh,
at this point. I'm curious about tell me the one you like, and then let's hear the ones you despise, because I find that stuff.
Izzy mentioned Aneurysm. That's a really cool one because we've really developed that one into our own. We've made it much heavier, much
Faster.
harder hitting. Yeah. Sober's a really fun one. We do Chop Suey by System of a Down.
I like playing the Royal Blood songs. Those
Oh,
are really
yeah.
fun.
Out of the Black is really cool.
Some covers that I don't really like playing, like Ring of Fire. We played the Social Distortion version, and No One Knows by Queens of the Stone Age. We don't really like playing because we always just feel like we're just messing it up, and it's
Yeah.
just like falling apart as we're playing
Being
it.
a dead horse.
Yeah,
That's got to be a really fun one on drums, though. That's a pretty
It is.
intense.
it is really fun. It took me a while to like get that one part down, but I finally got it down. So
Let's talk about your drumming style, Izzy. I mean, who would you compare your style to? I know you're a Nirvana fan. Is it Dave Grohl or is it somebody else?
Dave Grohl, Taylor Hawkins, Jimmy Chamberlain from Smashing Pumpkins I really like because he was like more trained on jazz, and I really can hear the jazz influence. Stuart Copeland, Neil Peart, like all of those like really big drummers in rock history I really like. And I like take influence from, like, there's this one song in my mind that like I do like some cool things on the toms that's influenced from Stuart Copeland. So it's just like I pick up bits and pieces from everything. And like John Bottom and Keith Moon, like those older guys from the 70s, 60s.
Johnny, a question for you. You guys are talking about the Aneurysm cover. A lot of stuff, a lot of the originals I've heard, your voice is smooth, and then that stuff. Are you adapting it to a growly, aggressive, abrasive style for things like the Aneurysm cover? Or are you singing it a little more smooth?
Yeah, I'd say I use more grit.
Riley does all the screaming in the band, so that helps a lot too.
Kind of layers it. Nice.
Helps with the longer sets too, so that he doesn't blow out his voice.
Yeah, and I started like learning some backup vocal parts too,
Yeah.
just to like make things more interesting and help him out for our
Yeah.
longer sets.
Have you run into any point, Johnny, where you had a show going on and you did blow out your voice? Because 3 to 4 hours is a pretty extensive amount of time.
I would say most of that was during the earlier kind of days of the band, with the last, like, middle school up to freshman year. I wasn't really using proper technique, I'd say, and mid-show I just kind of, my voice would be more hoarse. But recently I feel like I've gotten way better at not grating my voice down.
Especially like when I joined the band versus now, I think he like really developed his voice. Because before, like after a show, his like throat would hurt and stuff, but now it's just like he like I don't know what he did, but he figured it out, so that's cool.
Was singing something that you wanted to do originally, or did you start doing it because you didn't have a singer in the band?
No, I like singing. Yeah. It's the one thing I did want to do.
Well, can you tell me about some of the new tracks that you guys are going to release, some of the originals? I know
Yeah.
we talked about Time Flies. What are some of the other titles? Are you able to...
Ashamed is the first one we're releasing.
Yeah.
It's kind of one
You
we all
mentioned that, yeah.
all kind of had creative liberties on. And then the second one's going to be Bittersweet. It's more of an older one of the original songs.
Has a very weird tuning.
Yeah.
We call it towel tuning.
Explain towel
What are the
tuning.
notes in towel tuning?
Well, weirdly enough, I don't even know. I just tune it there by ear. I've never even checked it.
It's kind of an open tuning, right?
Yeah, we do have another interesting tuning.
It's like D A
For
D
song-
D D D.
We've got another interesting tuning for one of our songs called Torn. We call it D's tuning. Why not? But it's Yeah, D A D, half step below D, D D. So
Wow.
Interesting.
I know, like in Sonic Youth, Thurston Moore had like a bunch of weird tunings, and he had like 18 guitars for a show. We just have 3, but we'll work our way up there someday.
Your favorite Sonic Youth song is?
Cool Thing.
It's a good one.
That was quick.
Yeah. You like Bull in the Heather?
Yeah, I really like the music video because Kathleen Hanna's in it.
Yeah. Have you read Kathleen Hanna's biography?
I did. It was really good. I really like the Riot Girl stuff too, and like I'm just into like history, and I read like all these books, and they call me a nerd, but I don't care. Especially Riley, he likes to make fun of me.
I could talk like grunge and biography stuff with you all day. That might be a different show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited to hear the originals, recording them, the future stuff at your place, Riley.
My basement, yeah.
Yeah. How do you think that's going to play in? I mean, it's got to add a little more stress, whereas going into a studio to have somebody else do all that for you.
Definitely a little bit. I'm moderately experienced with audio engineering and recording and production. I luckily have a connection with a producer in Houston. His name is Raymond Villarreal. He's going to be he's all the mixing and mastering for it. He's the former drummer of Upon a Burning Body, which is a big metal outfit in Houston. So yeah, definitely he's going to be doing all the heavy lifting with the mixing and mastering parts. So that's very fortunate.
At this point, when you release your first release, the hot topic on the show is always, is it even worth putting CDs out anymore? You are such a young band and just starting. Is that going to be even an avenue that is even in your mind?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of like 90s influence, so I think CDs would be really cool.
Yeah, I think it definitely plays into the overall aesthetic and the vibe of our music. It's like that analog stuff. I was even thinking of possibly doing cassettes as well. Just sort of like a little novelty cassette with some like decorative art on it for the album.
Do you guys listen to cassettes?
I have a collection of CDs and vinyls and a couple cassettes. I'm really into physical media, so.
So that's something that's not off the table.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
And the single coming out that's going to be Bandcamp, Spotify.
Yeah.
But that's going to end up on the full length down the road, or is that going to be like
Bittersweet will. Ashamed is kind of going to stand on its own as its own single, our debut single, and then Bittersweet will be part of the album.
You mentioned Trash Pandas as being your parent band.
Yeah.
What has Lacey and company? What kind of advice have they given you that has helped you?
I don't know, just like general like booking advice, like what venues to go to, what venues not to go to.
Yeah.
We played with them at Misfits Tavern like about a year ago, and we played a couple more shows with them, and we think like our sounds like really vibe together because we're not really like a metal band and we're not really a punk band, so.
Have you guys played in Appleton a whole lot besides that?
Oh yeah, we played like Ben has shows at like the Study Hall and the Ambassador, and we would like to play Mile of Music next year, and we really kind of played in like the Fox Valley, Green Bay area a lot, like during the summer, the fall.
And do you have a place in Appleton that you'd like to get into besides like not Mile of Music, but like a venue?
Maybe Appleton Beer Factory.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen a show there yet?
I haven't
No.
caught one there. No.
I'm just aware of it.
It's a good place, and there's just lots of like really, I don't know, fan friendly venues in this area. I don't know if you've ever played at the Cold Shot.
We did.
Yeah, once.
Good experience, I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall.
How was the study hall? I almost think of the study hall as kind of being similar to the Cold Shot as far as the setup.
Oh yeah, they're super fun.
We did.
Our Halloween show there.
Yeah, last year.
It was really cool.
Johnny and I were Wayne and Garth.
And then what are you going to be this year?
That's disclosed.
Redacted.
Not even I guess a 3-piece power group or whatever. It's not the Beatles because they're 4 pieces.
They're sort of color coordinated. We've got like a color coordinated thing going on with their sweaters.
Sweaters. I have no idea. I mean, if anybody else knows, comment. I have no idea. Riley.
And if you know, don't comment.
Well, is there anything that you want people to know about your band?
I'm not sure.
It's been really great seeing the support from Green Bay and the entire community as a band that doesn't have any music out at all yet. It's been crazy. We've seen people follow us around show to show, and it really means a lot. Like, especially, since we have nothing out and we have really nothing to show for our music yet. Just the amount of people that believe in us as a band so far, it's been really inspiring and motivating to get work done.
And there's a lot of people that are willing to help us out, which is really appreciated, especially because we are like a younger band, and it was like hard to like meet bands just because we couldn't play and we couldn't like see other bands because we're under 21, so that was really appreciated.
Got a couple of comments here I just have to read. Brianna says that I want to hear a metal scream.
Do it.
Not about on the air.
Give it a go. Just don't be too close to the mic if you want to.
I know.
Yeah, you don't have to.
I'm good.
Okay. Another comment here from, another comment from Brian. Riley's best shirt is the one with his girlfriend's face on it. I think I know who that is.
Oh, yeah. She made me one. I don't know if she did it on Etsy or something, but it's got like a bunch of different shots of her face.
We,
bold lettering.
Do you wear that
Chris-
during shows?
He did for one at the tracks. Chris from Chicken or the Egg Photography was there, so we have a bunch of photos of him with that shirt, and it's great.
And another comment here from Aaron. He says he loves you, Johnny.
Heck yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks.
So
Love
Johnny,
you too, Aaron.
Johnny, I want to know what kind of media you consume when you're listening to music. Are you mostly digital? Or are you going with vinyl and cassettes and CDs?
Mostly Spotify. But I did actually just get a portable CD player for my car.
I had some influence in that.
A portable CD player, like the
A
one.
Walkman.
Oh, nice.
Just hook it up
Yeah.
via
That's old
aux.
school.
It is.
Do you and your dad share music tastes? Did you adopt a lot of what he liked?
Yeah, I think so. He listens to a lot of Radiohead, the Pixies. I really like Radiohead, and I think they introduced me to Muse, because Muse and Radiohead kind of get
Clumped together.
Yeah.
Probably that vocal falsetto. Or
Yeah.
when you were writing your parts, I noticed that you write interesting parts. You're just not hitting the chords. Also, your power chords, you do it the right way. I see some people, do it with these fingers.
Oh, yeah.
That's weird.
So, as far as lessons and how you learned to play guitar, did your dad show you some stuff, or did you go somewhere to learn that? Or are you self-taught?
My dad taught me a lot of the basics, just your kind of regular, your regular chord shapes. Then I went to Marcus, who kind of showed me, power chords, all that. Then after that, I'm pretty self-taught. I just kind of listen to songs I like, learn them, and then take what I learned from that, use it for my own stuff.
They both have really good ear training. You can learn a lot of songs by ear, whereas I need sheet music or so, even watching someone play it, because it's just I can't visualize drum parts just as it is.
Yeah.
I need to see a grid, a time grid, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like drums are a whole different ball game too in that regard.
Yeah.
Looks like we're having issues with our hotline today, so I apologize.
Oh,
but we
no.
had a question. They messaged it in here. How did you come up with the band name, and what are some of the other suggestions for band names? Or what were some of the other suggestions besides the Coves? So how did you come up with that band name, and what were some of the other ideas?
I think the name of the Coves has been around for a while.
Yeah, the Coves has been around since the original, or the first drummer, Avery. Me and him practiced at my house in our basement, and we called it the Cove. So when we were trying to find out the band name, we thought, why not the Coves?
People think we're called the Loves, but we're not. It's the Coves.
I think it has to do with the font we use for our logo.
Coves.
Yeah.
And what, as far as what were some of the other suggested besides the Cove?
I honestly, when I joined the band, I thought the Coves worked great. It's short and sweet. It's makes you ask questions,
And so no regrets about the band name.
No.
Nope.
Not for me, at least.
Nice. Well, I want to thank you guys for doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hopefully when that album comes out, you'll come back and chat with
Totally.
us again. Again, you've got the single coming out in a week, about a week,
About a week, yeah.
Yeah.
week and a half. Where can people go find out more about the Coves?
Our Instagram and our Facebook are pretty
Facebook
busy.
and Instagram mainly. We don't really have a website yet because I don't know how that works.
Mm-hmm.
But we have Facebook and Instagram, and we're pretty active on our Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
so you can go there, I guess.
Do you have any final last words?
I'd say I just hope these last few months, like these next few months, I hope we can make up some. How do I word that? I was
You
trying to say
don't.
something cool.
Something like inspiring.
Yeah.
But you just
Didn't work out.
epic fail.